So you've written a lot about AI, how AI can lead to widespread job losses. Can you explain why this might happen and how quickly you think this could become a serious issue?
So in a word, automation, which is not new. We've had it since before the Industrial Revolution. And as economists will always point out, automation doesn't lead to technological unemployment. It leads to wealth creation, and that leads to more jobs. And that's true. That has always been the case, and it will continue to be the case for a while. But eventually, we're going to get to a point, unless we stop developing AI, which we won't, where machines can do pretty much everything we can do for money, cheaper and better and faster than we can. And when that comes, there's an iron law of economics which says that every new job which is created by the automation of an old job won't be taken by a human, it will be taken by another machine. So a world in which there are no jobs for humans is coming. And when it's going to be, I do not know. I think my guess is it's probably 10 to 20 years, but there are a lot of people who think it will be a lot sooner. Sam Altman, the founder of OpenAI, thinks that we will have something like superintelligence, which would certainly take all our jobs, in 2 or 3 years. So it might be quite soon. What we haven't done is to think about the implications of this, to think about what an economy looks like in which there's no jobs for humans.
Exactly. We're going to become a welfare state in a way?
Well, in some sense, yes. There's going to have to be transfers from wherever the wealth is being created, because there'll be lots of wealth being created, but it'll be created by machines. That wealth is going to have to get spread out among everybody. And some form of transfer is inevitable. And there's lots of ways of doing it. I don't think this is an insuperable problem. But it is insuperable if we don't think about it. And at the moment, very, very few people are thinking seriously about this. Most people are in denial. Yes, they just say, we'll always work with AIs and machines will never replace everything that we do. I think many people are starting to question that bland complacency, because they can see generative AI and the text to videos. Hollywood is terrified. Anybody who writes marketing copy is scared. Novelists are scared. Lots of people can see the end of their industry or the translation of their industry into machine run. It is coming.
In your discussion, you mentioned something about the future of AI. Can you just give me in a brief nutshell what you mentioned to the audience?
So I talk about the future of AI in 3 phases. The current phase, and for the next few years, we're going to have large language models that are going to go from being chatbots to being friends and assistants. Instead of referring to GPT-4, every other day and asking it a question, you'll have continual conversations with it. You'll ask it questions all the time. You'll ask it its advice. It will probably even start to give you advice unsolicited.
It can happen now.
You can do it now. Yeah. And I think what will happen is we'll move from looking at our phones all the time to interacting with our technology through glasses. And that will make it much more ever-present. So that's one thing, the move from chatbots to friends. We'll have self-driving cars. They have been forecasted for a long time, but they do now work. They are out there running around in San Francisco and Austin and Phoenix. They are safer than human-driven cars. They're very reliable. And Google, who is the leader in that through a company called Waymo, is rolling them out very carefully and very cautiously, which is the right approach. So that's a form of robot. Robots are going to become omnipresent. They're going to be everywhere in our lives.
Excuse me as well, don't they have robot delivery things now in LA? I think they do.
There are robot delivery experiments all over the place. There's a company called Starship, which has little robots trundling around on university campuses. Amazon has been experimenting for quite a while with delivery drones, and drones, of course, are another form of robot. That's all the relatively near term. Then in the longer term, I think the middle term, I think we're going to get technological unemployment, and we need to know what the economy looks like after that. We're going to get radical longevity. People are going to live for much, much longer as we work out how to slow aging and perhaps even reverse it. And then finally, there's a third phase where machines become smarter than us in every conceivable way. They no longer at that point are a tool. They're an entity in their own right. It's called superintelligence. That is going to change everything.
Could they annihilate us?
Well, they might. It is a possibility, and we shouldn't pretend it isn't a possibility. It is. But I don't think it's the most likely outcome. I may be a starry-eyed optimist, but I think machines, the superintelligent machines, will not be threatened by us because they won't announce their existence until they've made themselves invulnerable. So they won't be competing with us. They won't be threatened by us. And I think they'll find us interesting. we
excited.
created them, and I think they'll say, look at us and say, you are 9 billion really interesting, often quite troubled, really interesting little things, and I like you. I want to help you. I think that's the most likely outcome. So and again, I don't know when this is going to happen. It could be, maybe it's 100 years, maybe it's 5. We just don't know. But it's coming unless there is some reason why machines can't continue to be improved. And there seems to be no reason why that's true.
Okay, great. That's all I really wanted. But tell me, how do you like the conference this year? You were here last year.
This is my second visit to the Digital Summit. I love it. I mean, obviously, Cyprus is a beautiful country. The weather's fabulous. So, for a Brit, that's all terrific. I really like the way that the country appears from the top down, from the bottom up, to be very determined to be along with the leaders in the digital transformation. And I think that's very praiseworthy, and it will produce great results, because it already is producing great results. And you can see it. You can see it at this summit, and you can see it in the way that the ministers talk. They're very knowledgeable. I wish English politicians could catch up.
Oh, great.